So, you've written your book, or you're thinking about writing one, but now you're wondering, how do I actually get it published? Now, I'm going to cover three main ways writers can get their work out into the world. Now, each comes with its challenges and benefits. So, whether you're thinking about landing that trad pub book deal, or you want full control of your book, or maybe you want a bit of both, I'm going to break it down today. Okay? And hey, if you're new here, consider joining my YouTube membership for exclusive badges, emojis, and priority replies to comments. Okay, let's dive in. Route number one, the usual trad publishing. Okay, and this is basically where maybe you get a literary agent, or you submit directly to publishers, and then hopefully you secure a deal eventually, right? Obviously, there's going to be some assessments on both sides. There's probably going to be some negotiation, maybe, if you want to discuss the contract that you're receiving, that kind of thing. Anyway, the pros of this are that the publisher basically covers all the editing, the cover design. There's a bit of marketing, depends on how big you're going to be, and how much they want to invest in you. But basically for you, the writer, there's no upfront costs usually. And usually there's also a built-in audience with the publisher, right? They've got many books out in the past, so that's something to be aware of. Whereas if you're new, you may not have an audience, so you're kind of leveraging that. Okay. Now the cons, it's highly competitive, so it's not easy to get one of these deals. Okay, it can take years to get an offer. Some never even get one. So this is kind of where I'm at with this part of my journey. I'm writing a book. I'm editing it right now. So I'm hoping that eventually I will get a trad published deal. And basically, there's less control over the final product, because they've got editors, they've got cover designers who are kind of experts in their field. There's definitely going to be a smaller royalty percentage. So depending on how many books you sell, you may or may not get a huge amount of money. So yeah, consider the cons as well as the pros. No upfront costs, but you get less in royalties, right? It's a trade-off. It's a trade-off. Route number two, which is really, really popular, and that is self-publishing. Okay, so basically you publish it independently, maybe via like KDP, Amazon's publishing arm, or Drafted Digital, like an aggregator, Ingram Spark, that's kind of everywhere, or any other platforms you might choose to go direct. So that is an option. You can choose to self-publish. Now the pros of this is you get full control, full creative control, however you want your book to be, the covers, the interiors. There's obviously going to be higher royalties because there's no middle person taking their cuts in the middle. Obviously, when you publish through a platform, they take their cut. I get that, but you ultimately get more royalties than, say, going through a trad publisher. Okay, there's also a faster publishing timeline typically because you control the whole process, so you decide how fast you go. You can hire editors, hire cover designers in your own time. So if you want to go super fast, you can totally do it. Okay, now some of the challenges for this is obviously the upfront costs. Editing, cover design, marketing, those things cost money. Usually cost money. And basically you are responsible for selling your books. I mean, you're responsible for selling your books anyway with anything, but you are even more responsible when you self-publish. So you got to find an audience, marketing, advertising, building an audience, that kind of thing. So those are kind of some of the challenges. You can't really get around that. You can do what other people do, which is leverage other people's audiences. So maybe you can team up, swap email newsletters, that kind of thing. That's always a possibility. But basically self-publishing, you do it all yourself, 100%. Okay, and you keep more money. But because you're doing it all, it's only fair that you keep more money. So that's number two, self-publishing. Okay, now this is kind of 2.5. It's more a warning, and that is you're self-publishing, but you're paying someone to do it. That's vanity publishing. Basically, you're paying a company to publish your book. I'm not a fan of that because some of the practices are very, very, very predatory. Okay, so they're gonna nickel and dime you for the services. So editing, covers, and everything that you could do way cheaper, they nickel and dime you for that. They also sometimes even have a hold on your rights. So you may own the copyright, but they own the publishing rights. So you can't even publish elsewhere. So you have to read the contract really carefully, and then on top of that, you keep lower royalties. So it's like a triple whammy to me. I've got to pay, I get less money, and I lose control. I'm not a fan of that. Anyway, I just want to mention, it's kind of like, a warning, a 2.5 points. It's a warning. Vanity publishing, steer clear or be extremely careful. Do your due diligence, okay? There's hybrid publishing, which is a combination of the first 2 points. So if you're already trad published and you're self-published, you're basically a hybrid published person. So you got people, famous people actually, like Emma Bennett, romance author, or Frida McFadden, very, very famous thriller author, So there are people who go between, sometimes they self-publish and then the book gets taken on by a trad or a publisher, so that totally can happen. So like I say, those couple of names pop to mind, Emma Bennett and Frida McFadden. Anyway, the point is, this is where they get the best of both worlds, right? They get massive distribution through their publishers. They keep, they can negotiate maybe even higher royalties because they are the bee's knees, right? Now, they can also leverage, because they are famous in what they do, they can leverage that for their self-publishing brands as well, which is great. So now the cons is, I think, because I've never experienced this, I'm just guessing here, okay? The cons I perceive are, it's probably difficult to manage some of these two, especially if you're already doing one full-time and then you add another one. But it might be that you don't do a huge amount on one or the other, in which case, it's not too bad. But yeah, I think hybrid publishing is great if you can do it. Personally, I'm trying to aim for this sweet spot where I have like some trad published books and some self-published books, where I sell it direct or something, Anyway, those are the 3 points. If you've already got a book out or you want to start selling more copies, check out this video right here on how to sell your first 100 books fast, okay? Or if you're still deciding, which publishing route is right for you, then maybe click on this video that YouTube thinks is perfect for you. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you there.